you guys, we're getting ready to head back into our our back to work, back to school week. And Alyssa and I both start work on Wednesday. I think Alyssa goes back on Wednesday. I think that's what she said. And so, of course, the videos that we're going to have for you guys starting on Saturday are going to be all kind of related to going back to school or like work day videos. I think you can use them regardless of whether you have a job that is, year-round, or you're any kind of educator or work with any kind of school system that's more seasonal employment. Blah. Anyway, Alyssa spent today coming up with a really cool, back-to-school tag that we're going to do for you, and she may post that tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, leading into that, I thought that I would talk to you guys about something that I use a lot for organization. I think at my new school I'm going to have an actual office, so I've been kind of gathering things that I can use to say that they're very clearly, it's really clearly marked that they're supplies that I've purchased myself and they're not provided by the school, which sounds kind of snarky, but when I have to provide all of my own office supplies, I like to just have them in a way that are organized and that are, just distinctive, so that I don't go in and find out that all of my notebook paper has been distributed out. Anyway, I know I've talked to you guys before about decorative jars and how I kind of collect glass jars, and my dad and my grandmother both will kind of save funky jars for me. And one of the main reasons they do that is because I use them organizationally. I mentioned that I did my to be read jar in an old vintage mason jar that my dad picked up at a flea market, and that's a really great use. But I actually use mason jars in some other ways. Well, not just mason jars. For example, I have this old funky brown canister that my grandmother says people used to keep loose tea or coffee in, and I use it a lot for a candle holder, because I hate to just put candles flat against my vanity or my bookshelves. So, and it's where it's amber brown glass, it creates a really good glow. So that's more common. A lot of people, I think, do that. But I also use mason jars in other ways. And I'm just going to kind of show you. And if you guys use glass jars or canisters in ways that are not necessarily their designated use, let us know in the comments, because I'm always looking for new ways to organize things or to use things in more than one way. So I have an old ball jar that I keep all of my makeup brushes in, and then I keep my rollerball perfume and whatever mascara I'm using currently. And this sits on my vanity all the time, so I have easy access to my brushes, and also they keep, my brushes don't get bent or anything, which is fantastic. I also keep other beauty supplies, like cotton balls and just sponges, in odd-shaped little jars. My dad painted the lids gold for me, so they're a little fancier on my vanity. And also, you can use washi tape or spray paint or even Sharpie markers to kind of personalize the lids, and that's a really nice way. If you're in a dorm room or you share an apartment or an office and you want to designate things as your own, that's a really good way to do that. I also have this really cool old canister that my cousin gave me that I keep flowers in, and I have a mason jar in it that I use to hold the flowers and the water so that my aluminum pitcher doesn't leak on my vanity, because my vanity is an antique that we refinished and refurbished this past summer, and I'm always really paranoid about breaking it in some way because my dad put a lot of work into fixing it. I also keep hair supplies, which is really nice because I can keep all my bobby pins in a jar. This is an old Peter Pan jar. And I can keep hair ties in another one. I have one for butterfly clips, and one for barrettes, and one for ribbons. This is an old this is another peanut butter jar. I have a lot of peanut butter jars because peanut butter is my favorite thing in the world. So I keep ribbons in one. And then the only other thing that I also will use these for office supplies. I have mason jars at my desk in the living room that have binder clips and paper clips and rubber bands and things like that. And that's really nice because, like I said, they are closed if I can't spill my bobby pins. So that's really fun. I used to have them in open containers, and I would spill bobby pins every single day. The only other thing, though, that I use them for besides storing small objects that I don't want to lose or that I don't want to drop frequently is I use them in my lunchbox. This is a jelly jar, and my grandmother had this one funky little flat and ring on it that I stole from her. And I keep fresh fruit in this. It's really good because it seals really well, so if the juice, like if it's watermelon or something that has juice in it, the juice doesn't spill out. And where they're glass, you know, they don't break in the refrigerator, they don't transfer flavors. Sometimes plastic, things that you store in plastic start to take on those flavors. And I also drink out of mason jars occasionally. If I take sweet tea to work, I'll put it in a mason jar because, again, the flat and the lid keep things from spilling. This is just water with orange peel in it, and I've kept it at work today, and we've had to move between meeting rooms, like from the computer room to the meeting room to like the office, and I can just put the lid on this and put it down in my work bag and not worry about spilling it or dropping it or losing it in any way. I actually brewed, it was kind of cool this morning. It was like 49 degrees when I woke up this morning, which is really unusual for Virginia in the middle of August. Dog days just ended last week. So, I mean, we thought it was going to get cooler, but we didn't quite expect like fall temperatures yet. So this morning, my throat was kind of sore and gross. My allergies were kind of bothering me. So I brewed hot tea. And I even took my hot tea to work in a mason jar with a lid on it. And it was fantastic because I had like 2 cups of tea in one mason jar. I set it on the stove this morning while I fixed my breakfast. It stayed warm. It got cold about midway through the morning. While I was drinking it, it got kind of cold. So I was able to just pop it in the microwave and heat it back up. I didn't have to transfer it. I don't have to worry about, you know, the jars breaking. They're so good for lunches. Mason jars in lunches are some of my favorite things because they keep produce fresh. You can heat them right in the microwave. I feel like I've said you can heat them up like 14 times, but that's so important when you're packing your lunch every day. Plastic containers are expensive, and mason jars aren't cheap. If you don't can, it's not necessarily an inexpensive thing. Like, I would suggest looking at yard sales or estate sales, maybe even checking like your friends if they have any, or going in with people, because to buy a flat of mason jars, if you're only going to use 1 or 2, can be expensive. But we have a ton of them, my family cans and stuff, so it's really nice to find a way to utilize these things that my family has collected for years to use that we have in excess. So if you guys have something similar that you use mason jars for that I didn't list, or if you have any other kind of container type thing that you use differently, let us know and we would appreciate it. I hope you all are having a great week, and Alyssa will see you tomorrow, and I will see you on Saturday. Bye!